Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. Today is the 10th in a series where I am taking an episode from American Horror Story Season 8 Asylum, and I am doing kind of autumnal makeup around it and talking about the episode. Today's episode is for episode 10, Apocalypse Then. I'm using the Melt Cosmetics She's in Party Stack and also one of the Marc Jacobs Omega eyeshadows. So if you'd like to see how I got this look and hear me talk about this last episode of this season, which was not my favorite, but I don't think it was the worst, but I still processing how I'm feeling about this season. Please keep watching. All right, we begin. Cold open is Myrtle and Venable at the robotics place, and Myrtle puts Venable under a spell because she needs to go see Mutt and Jeff to get everything situated for the impending apocalypse. And Myrtle also says that purple is for royalty, dear, not for middle management, which is funny because all of the employees at the outpost wear gray and all of the paid guests wear purple. They go in with Last Caress with a fluffy brush. And before Myrtle gets in to Mutt and Jeff, we hear them talking about the fact that Michael will be at Outpost 3 and that he wants Mead's memory wiped. Then Myrtle enters and Mutt picks up a gun like he's going to shoot her, but she just puts them into a spell where they're kind of suspended while they're in the room with her. She asks where Outpost 3 is, and they say that it's at Hawthorne. We see that Dinah is at the top of the list, and she sees that Dinah's at the top of the list, and she also tells them that Sinclair Vanderbilt, Coco Vanderbilt's father, is going to be buying seats. They say there's no room, but she says that they're going to have to make room, basically. And then as she leaves, she says that the only thing that she really regrets is that she can't kill them. And she can't kill them because they have work to do. I'm gonna go in with Mean Streak with the smaller brush. So we are back at Misty's with Cordelia, Coco, Mallory, Madison, and Myrtle. And we understand that Coco's father will be purchasing places in the bunker. And we learn more about this identity spell that's about to happen. So what we learn is that her family, Coco's family, is going to forget that she was a witch, but they can't come with her to the bunker. So they're going to have to plan to be away when they know that the end of the world is coming, because it would just be too much of a risk for them to know that she is a witch. And what we learn about the identity spell is that it's designed to make Coco really demean Mallory, because I'm gonna go in with Skeleton Kiss with a fluffy brush on my lid. So the whole reason why Coco is mean to her, to Mallory, is to help suppress her powers, to make her feel insecure and not strong. Mallory does a preemptive apology, and because she knows that she's going to end up being a jerk to her, which is how we met them in the first place. So I'm gonna go in, this is one of the Marc Jacobs Omega shadows. This is in Prim-O. I'll actually zoom in. I don't remember this from before, but my lids, it's as though you can see my eyelid through it, but it's kind of like this orange sherbet color, which is not what I was shooting for. It's good to know that, but yeah, just one of the basic rules of makeup is if your original plan is not successful, try again, but make it symmetrical. That's almost even a rhyme. I will flip the brush over though and go in with the color She's in Parties just on the outer edge. So Coco's doing a preemptive apology, and then, you know, you're my best friend and I'm so sorry, and Cordelia blows this powder into their faces, which is what she does when she revives them. So it must be kind of I'm just gonna blend this a little bit. The powder to make them forget, and then the other powder to make them remember. And they kind of go into a little bit of a kind of trancy state, and then Coco starts like touching her hair, Leslie Grossman does, and it looks more like the Coco that we know. The Balm Schwing liner. So then we're in LA, we're in a car, and Coco is furious at Mallory because her hair is getting blown all over the place. And they end up at a salon with Gallant. This is the first time that she sees him, and he says he doesn't have time, but then she basically makes him an offer that he can't refuse to pay for all of this. And Oh, and then we also meet Brock for the first time. And he says that whatever Gallant is doing is basically pointless because you can't improve on perfection. And that's where they meet each other for the first time. And oh, it's also Madison who is driving an Uber or a Lyft or something. And as she's outside, she sees a bus side that is an ad for Dinah's show. So they realize that Dinah is kind of in cahoots with him. So then we're back at Misty's shack and Madison comes in and she wants to kill, she asks for permission to burn a witch. She wants to burn Dinah because she's in cahoots, but Cordelia says they can't do anything to alert Michael and that she wants Dinah to be safe and sound until everything's ready and then she'll pay. Another commercial break. This is a little bit annoying and this happens twice. So we see the entire scene from, I think, episode 2 or 3 when Mallory is having her one-on-one conversation with Michael. When she starts saying that she's always felt like there was someone inside of her clawing to get out. I lost power. I don't remember where I was, but what I was saying is that we see the entire scene from that episode with Mallory and Michael when she's being interviewed and when she kind of feels her powers for the first time and he looks very surprised. And what's annoying about it is that there's nothing new. It would have been interesting if they'd kind of done that scene but from a different angle so we saw something different or there was a different piece of information revealed, but there was nothing new and that was annoying. Then we are outside of Miss Robichaux's and the hands come out. This was in the preview and it is Myrtle and Madison and Cordelia. And they probably, I think, were under a spell or something and they're talking about the healing properties of Louisiana swamps. And they sensed something that it was time to kind of come out of hibernation. And then the witches approach Hawthorne and it's exactly as it was when they were approaching before. Nothing new. And then we see Cordelia bring them back to life. Coco, Mallory, and Dinah. They come in and then we see Michael again and he says that the one new thing is he says that if they will all fall to their knees and accept him as their Lord and Savior, that he would invite them to the table as his obedient subjects, but they're not having it. And Dinah says like she's not allying herself with the witches because she always chooses the winner, and then heads over towards Michael. And then Marie Laveau. This is a pretty awesome reveal. So then we get Marie Laveau's flashback and she is torturing, her hell is torturing Madame LaLaurie, but not really doing it right. Then Nan comes in. So then it turns out that Cordelia had come to, the Nan comes in with Cordelia. And apparently Papa Legba said that her work has been subpar. And Cordelia makes a deal, we don't see this but we learn, that she has made a deal with Papa Legba to release Marie Laveau from her servitude in exchange for the darkest and most corrupt Voodoo Queen's soul. So they're exchanging Dinah for Marie Laveau, which is just awesome. Then Marie Laveau kills Dinah, and then we get a lot happening very quickly. We get Cordelia making Mead's head explode, and very milky, very Alien or Aliens, I forget which movie. And then she's also singing Daisy or Daisy, Bring Me Your Answer Do, which is a song that Hal is singing when he starts shutting down at the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Then Madison grabs the gun from Mead's hand and shoots Michael. Myrtle goes over and takes some hair from him. Madison tells everyone to go, that she'll hold Michael off for as long as she can because obviously he's not dead. And as Mallory and Cordelia and Myrtle are leaving with the hair to try to kind of have Mallory go back in time and change history, Brock comes in and stabs Mallory because he should have been on that plane, and Myrtle burns him up. And it looks like things are not going well. Myrtle and Cordelia are trying to save Mallory. Michael reabsorbs the blood and Madison says, I guess it's back to retail because her hell is retail kind of customer support. And Michael makes her head explode after he's reabsorbed the blood. Gonna go in with Surreal Halo from, this is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit 3. from last year. This all happens very quickly. Then Marie comes in to Myrtle and Cordelia and tells them that they have to hurry, they have to get her out of here, that wherever she's headed is nowhere near as bad as where Marie was. So Marie tells them to get out and to get Mallory out of there. Michael kills Marie Laveau. She's put a spell on him, but he's too powerful. Kevyn Aucoin the sculpting powder and light. And then Coco stabs Michael, and Michael rips out Marie Laveau's heart and eats it, and then breaks Coco's neck. Then we have Mallory in a bath with Cordelia and Myrtle chanting, and it becomes clear to Cordelia that the answer is that she just needs to let go so that Madison can be the supreme. She says to Myrtle, I love you. And then she goes into the other room where Michael is. And she says, I look at you and I don't see a man. I see a sad, scared little boy so pathetic that he couldn't even kill me without 1,000 nuclear bombs. Michael says, this is back to the whole thing that a lot of this was about not him being the Antichrist and wreaking havoc on the world, but about his personal vendetta against Cordelia. He says, but I never expected to. Like a cockroach, I knew that you would survive the nuclear fallout. I wanted you to. And now I'm going to have the satisfaction of watching you die knowing that you failed. And then Cordelia says, you still don't get it, even now. You think there's only winning and losing, success and failure. But failure is when you've lost any semblance of hope. You will get to watch me die, but you won't find it satisfying. Satan has one son, but my sisters are legion. And this was one of my fears, is that, and when she said that, I was a little bit afraid that it was going to become, spoiler alert, like the end of Buffy, where maybe all the witches become the supreme. But no, she was just going to kill herself. So she stabs herself in the heart, and then in that instant, Mallory becomes stronger, and she's no longer fighting for her own life. I'll speed you through lipstick. This is ColourPop Sachet. And It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores. So yeah, so I was a little bit afraid that she was going to make them all Supremes, like Buffy, but that didn't happen, thankfully. Yeah, so she is jumping off of the staircase as she stabbed herself, and Michael is very upset. And it's just a really beautiful sequence where she's fallen off and she's dead or she's dying, and then Mallory is falling into this water holding Michael's hair. Then we have another segment, segment 4, and we see the exterior of Murder House, which is not really accurate because we're really talking about Constance's house, which is next door. And we see the scene that we saw before with Michael and the priest. So right after he kind of aged and the priest, and he killed him while he was like playing video games. And then we see Constance again. And she says a lot of things, but the crux of it is, what she says is, I'm done for taking the blame for the horror and misery that you bring into this house. And he's trying to say that he's not going to do it anymore. He says he's a child. I need help, I'm just a child. And really, he did just grow into like the adult-sized Michael. And he says, I'm just a child. She says, no, you're not a child. My grandson is a child. And I see his eyes in your eyes, and I hear the remnant of his sweet voice in your throat, but you are not him. Now you may have somehow claimed his bed, but you are not him. And he says, please don't be mad. And she says, you've made a fool of me this entire time, treating me like the help. All of the buried rodents and murdered nannies. And I went along with it, thinking that it was just a phase that you were going through, but this is not a phase. This is who you are, and it's only going to get worse. But I swear to God, it's not going to happen in my house. Get out. I don't care where you go. You can sleep on a park bench or under an overpass. I don't care. I'll change, I promise, Michael says, and she says, I don't want you. Michael starts strangling her, and then she says, put me out of my misery. And he stops strangling her, and she calls him a coward. He leaves, and then Mallory is outside in a car, and she runs him over multiple times. And there's a little visual exchange between Mallory and Constance. Constance comes out to the street and is holding him while he's dying. And he says that he wants to be brought into the house so that he can stay with her forever. And she says, go to hell, and leaves him there. Then we have another commercial break, and we are back, and there's a voiceover, and it's coming from Mallory. So this is probably very shortly after she killed Michael in 2015. And Mallory is going to Miss Robichaux's. And Mallory and Cordelia meet each other for the first time, Mallory remembers, Cordelia doesn't, although she feels like there's something familiar. And there's something about what she says about when you go back in time. The difference was that she didn't come back to the present. She stayed in that 2015 and then was living her life from then forward. So in this new path, Myrtle's not brought back because there was no reason for Myrtle to be brought back, because there was no apocalypse that was nigh. Queenie and Zoe are still alive. There is a scene where Queenie's talking about getting ready to go to LA and she's going to be staying at this hotel. And this is Mallory's first day, and Mallory says, I don't really know you very well, but don't stay there. And the reason that she gives is that it's too far away from the beach and that the traffic's just too bad. So she says that she'll stay somewhere else. So Queenie is also saved. She also says that she knows where Madison is, and we see a shot of Madison in hell in her customer service in retail. And she says, I'll have to go to hell to bring her back, but I'll let her sweat it out a little bit more. And then we're with Cordelia and Mallory, and Nan and Misty come in. So in this timeline, Nan's still dead, and so is Misty, because Michael never brought her back. So Nan has helped bring Misty back because now Mallory has kind of favors that the underworld is willing to kind of grant her. So Nan brings Misty back, but Nan goes back because Nan likes it there. Nan says that it's fun there. And Misty and Mallory meet for the first time, and it's very sweet. And then we see Misty and Cordelia reunited, which is also very sweet. And then there's a voiceover, and she says, and in changing the past, a part of me will always wonder what it truly means for the future. So then it's 2020. Emily's protesting and she bumps into Timmy and pours coffee on him. And then a year later, they're having a baby. And then 3 years after that, they're on a date. And they're coming back from the date and the sky is very red and there's a murder of crows. And it's very similar to when we saw Michael outside of Murder House when in Return to Murder House. And they come in and their son has killed the nanny. And then there is a knock at the door or a ringing of the doorbell. And it is Meade and Anton LaVey and Naomi Grossman. And they say that they've been waiting their whole lifetime for this and that they're here to help. So it seems like there was going to be an Antichrist no matter what, is kind of what that seems like. And also it's different from Vivian because the whole her being pregnant with Michael was accelerated. And the whole thing about the ultrasound, there was that nurse who kind of ran out of one of Vivian's ultrasounds and quit her job, I think, and Vivian found her at a church. So that wasn't part of this. That was a little bit annoying, but yeah, it was okay. I think I'm gonna need to watch it again, but not those two. The episodes with Mutt and Jeff were just kind of a waste of time. I don't think this is at the top of my favorite seasons. Murder House is still #1 for me and probably always will be. And I like Cult a lot too. Cult's probably #2 for me. Let me know what you thought about this season. I liked the way that they tied things together, but there was a lot of time that was wasted, I think, that we could have had more of a story. We could have had more of Michael going to the different outposts, like what was happening at the other outposts. A lot that would have been interesting to see. So yeah, let me know what you think if you're watching this, and thank you so much for watching. A lot to do in the world, a lot to do on YouTube, and it means a lot that you took some time to spend with me today. Take care, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye.